Welcome to Quick Speak, the English podcast.
Today we're talking about something really important for, well, everyone, building confidence.
That's right. Confidence helps us try new things, reach our goals, and just feel better about ourselves, doesn't it?
It really does. So we're going to explore 10 different ways you can build lasting confidence. These aren't just guesses. They're based on research and practical ideas.
Okay, 10 pathways. Where do we start?
Let's begin with a really foundational idea. Self-efficacy. It comes from a psychologist named Albert Bandura.
Self-efficacy. Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Well, simply put, it's your belief in your own ability to do what's needed to achieve a certain goal.
So it's not just if you have the skill.
Exactly. It's whether you believe you have the skill and can use it successfully. It's that inner feeling, that conviction.
That sounds like a big shift in thinking. Before, people thought you were just born confident or not.
Right. Bandura's idea really changed that. It made confidence something you can actively build, not just something you possess.
And does this belief actually, make a difference?
Oh, absolutely. Research links strong self-efficacy to being more resilient when things get tough. You're more likely to stick with your goals, and people with high self-efficacy even tend to recover better from health issues. Believing you can do it really helps you. Oh, do it.
Okay, so how do we build it then, this self-efficacy?
The most powerful way, according to Bandura, is through what he called mastery experiences.
Mastery experiences, meaning succeeding at things.
Yes, but crucially, it's often about small successes, breaking down big, intimidating tasks into smaller, manageable steps.
I see. So you don't aim for the mountaintop straight away.
Exactly. You focus on the first step. Maybe it's writing just one paragraph or learning one new English phrase today.
And those small wins add up.
They do. Each small success provides evidence to yourself that you can do it. And getting feedback on the small steps is really key too. It reinforces the learning.
That makes sense. Little victories build momentum.
Precisely. This leads us nicely into another big idea, the growth mindset. This comes from Carol Dweck.
Ah, yes, I've heard of that. It's about believing you can improve, right?
That's the core of it. Believing your abilities aren't fixed, but can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence.
So challenges become opportunities to learn, not threats.
Exactly. It moves away from that old idea that only naturally talented people can succeed.
It's become quite popular, hasn't it, in schools and workplaces?
Very popular. It's an empowering message. But it's important to be a bit nuanced here.
Oh, how so?
Well, some research suggests that just teaching the concept of a growth mindset doesn't always lead to big changes on its own. Workshops can sometimes oversimplify it.
Right, just telling someone to have a growth mindset might not be enough if they're facing real difficulties.
Precisely. If you lack skills or support, positive thinking alone won't cut it. True growth often needs practical help, like coaching, good feedback, and actual opportunities to practice and learn.
So it's a useful way to think, but it needs to be backed up by real action and support.
Yes, exactly. Which brings us back to those small wins we talked about. Let's call it mastery experiences and small wins.
Okay, focusing specifically on building confidence through success.
Yes, it's about deliberately setting small, achievable goals. Each time you hit one, you build that belief, that positive energy.
Like stacking little blocks of confidence.
That's a great way to put it. Finishing one page of reading, making one phone call you were avoiding, learning just that one new word. These things build confidence relatively quickly.
Is there any evidence for this focus on small goals?
Actually, yes. One study found that 68% of people who rated themselves as highly confident regularly set small goals and acknowledge their small steps of progress.
Wow, 68%. And for people with low confidence,
There's only 22%. That's a pretty significant difference.
it really highlights the strategy. Don't wait to feel confident. Build it with small, noticeable achievements.
Absolutely. It's a very practical takeaway. Set small goals. Notice when you achieve them.
Okay. What about preparing mentally? I've heard about visualization.
Visualization and mental rehearsal. Yes, this is a technique used a lot, especially in sports psychology for decades.
So, practicing in your mind.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
You imagine yourself successfully performing an action or navigating a situation. Think of athletes like Muhammad Ali or Michael Phelps that were famous for using it.
How does that work? How does just thinking about it help?
Well, the idea is that mentally simulating the experience helps your brain prepare. It activates some of the same neural pathways as actually doing it.
Interesting.
It can reduce anxiety because the situation feels more familiar when you encounter it for real. Research suggests that combining visualization with actual physical practice often works better than practice alone.
So it's like a mild warm-up.
Kind of, but there's a caution here. Visualization needs to be detailed and specific. And crucially, it doesn't replace real practice and feedback.
Right. You can't just imagine being a great speaker. You actually have to practice speaking.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool to support skill building, but it won't build the skill on its own. You need the mastery experiences too.
Okay. Now, what about our bodies?
Hmm.
There was talk a while ago about power posing. Does standing confidently actually make you feel confident?
Ah, yes, power posing. The idea of adopting open, expansive postures for a short time.
I remember seeing that. Stand like a superhero for 2 minutes.
Right, and the initial research suggested this could actually change your hormones, increasing testosterone, decreasing the stress hormone cortisol, and make you feel more powerful.
But I sense a but coming.
Well, yes, that initial research faced a lot of criticism. Many later studies couldn't replicate those strong hormone effects.
So it's not quite the quick fix, it seemed.
The current understanding is much more cautious. Standing tall might make you feel slightly different in the moment, perhaps more self-assured subjectively.
Maybe just because you're acting the part.
Possibly. But it's unlikely to create deep, lasting confidence. Real confidence tends to come from, well, competence. From developing skills and achieving things through effort over time, not just a 2-minute pose.
So stand tall if it feels good, but don't expect miracles.
That's a fair summary. It's not the foundation of confidence.
Okay. What about what we tell ourselves? Self-talk and affirmations.
Yes, the internal dialogue. This is really important. The roots are in cognitive therapy, which showed that changing negative thought patterns can help with things like anxiety and depression.
And affirmations are part of that.
Yeah.
Like repeating positive statements.
Exactly. Short, positive sentences about yourself, like, I am capable or I am learning and getting better. The idea is that repeating these can help rewire negative self-beliefs over time.
Does it work?
It can, but again, with some caveats. For someone with very low self-esteem, saying something very positive that they fundamentally don't believe.
Like, I am a huge success when they feel like a failure.
Right. That can sometimes backfire. It can feel false and actually make them feel worse by highlighting the gap between the statement and their reality.
So how can you use them effectively?
They seem to work best when they feel realistic and believable to you. Maybe not, I am brilliant, but I am working hard and improving.
Okay.
And connecting them to actual evidence, those small wins we talked about, makes them feel more grounded and powerful. They should feel like a gentle push, not a leap into fantasy.
Got it. Make them believable.
Yeah.
What about learning from others?
Yes. This takes us back to Bandura again, with social modeling and mentorship.
Learning by watching.
Precisely. Think about apprentices learning a craft by watching a master. Seeing someone else, especially someone you relate to, competently do something you want to do.
It makes you think, maybe I can do that too.
Exactly. You learn from their example, their techniques, their approach. It builds your belief in your own potential.
So finding mentors or coaches is a way to build confidence.
A very effective way. But it also includes things like watching tutorials, reading about successful people in your field, or even just spending time with peers who are skilled. It demystifies the process.
Makes sense. Seeing is believing, in a way.
In a very real way for building confidence, yes.
Okay, here's a potentially tougher one. Facing fears. How does that build confidence?
This relates to a therapy technique called exposure therapy. It's about gradually and safely confronting things you're afraid of.
Gradually being the key word there.
Absolutely, step by step. The link to confidence is quite direct. Every time you successfully face a fear, even a small part of it, you prove to yourself that you can handle it.
And that reduces the fear over time.
Yes, it weakens the fear response and builds your belief in your ability to cope. This is often used for phobias, but the principle applies broadly.
Like with public speaking, you wouldn't start with a huge audience.
Right. You might practice with a friend, then a small supportive group, then maybe a slightly larger one. Each successful step builds confidence for the next.
Are there new ways to do this?
Yes. Things like virtual reality are being used now. VR can provide a safe space to practice things like presentations or social interactions repeatedly without the real-world pressure initially.
That's interesting. So the core idea is steady, repeated exposure.
Yes. Systematic and supported exposure is a very reliable path from fear to confidence. It provides concrete proof of your capability.
Let's touch briefly on the brain.
Yeah,
Is there a biological side to confidence?
there definitely is. Think about stress. When we're stressed, it's hard to feel confident. Practices like deep breathing or mindfulness can lower stress hormones like cortisol.
Creating a calmer state, making confidence easier.
Exactly. And also, the brain itself changes. It's called brain plasticity. When you practice skills, have positive experiences, succeed at small tasks.
Those mastery experiences again.
Right. Those experiences strengthen neural connections in your brain, especially in areas linked to reward, motivation, and feeling good.
So practicing confidence-building activities actually rewires your brain.
In a sense, yes. It shows that confidence isn't just in your mind, it's also a skill your nervous system learns. You're literally building the neurological pathways for it.
Wow. Okay, finally, we live in a digital age. How does technology impact confidence today?
It's a double-edged sword, really. On one side, you have social media.
Ah, the comparison trap.
Exactly. Seeing curated, perfect-looking lives online can easily lead to comparing yourself and feeling inadequate. One study found over half of heavy social media users felt less confident after seeing friends' successes online.
That's quite high. But is there a positive side to tech?
Definitely. Technology also offers amazing tools for building confidence. Think about online learning platforms where you can gain new skills and mastery.
Or online communities for support?
Yes, finding groups where you can practice, get feedback, even find mentors online. And then there are apps in VR, like we mentioned, for exposure.
Helping practice public speaking, or maybe guided visualization.
Precisely. Tools that make these confidence-building techniques more accessible. So technology can undermine confidence through comparison, but it also offers powerful resources to build it actively.
So after exploring all of these 10 pathways, what's the main takeaway?
I think the biggest thing is that confidence isn't something you just have or don't have. It's not fixed.
It's something you build.
Exactly. You build it piece by piece, through action, through mindset shifts, through learning, through facing challenges. These 10 ideas offer different tools, different angles.
You don't have to do all of them.
Not at all. You can choose the ones that seem most helpful for you, for the specific area where you want to feel more confident.
And remember, it takes time.
Definitely. It takes time and consistent practice.
Right.
But focusing on those small steps, those manageable actions, and acknowledging your progress really can make a big difference over time.
Okay, that leads to a final thought for our listeners.
Consider this. If confidence really is a skill you can practice, what's one small, truly achievable step you could take today to start practicing that skill in some part of your life?
Just one small thing.
Just one small thing to get started.
We really hope this discussion about building confidence has been helpful, both for your English learning and maybe for your personal growth too.
Remember, understanding these ideas is one thing, but putting them into practice is where the real change happens.
And to help you with that, and to find more materials to improve your English, please subscribe to Quick Speak.
You can also visit our website. The link is in the description for things like vocabulary lists and exercises based on what we talked about today.
Thanks for listening.